Welcome to all of you, dearest friends. Thank you for joining me tonight. And I'd like to remind everyone that I'm going to be holding the spring equinox ceremony on Sunday, the 20th, to honor the changing of the seasons and to welcome new beginnings as we cycle around the zodiac once more. So I know it's a lot to hold two ceremonies within a few days of one another, but I do hope that you will find the time to join us. I believe that as we honor the cycles of nature, we become more attuned to her energy, and we learn to flow with the changes as we follow her rhythms. So if you can make it, please do join us. It will be on Zoom, of course, 7:30, Sunday the 20th. And you will need to bring a small sacred object that can fit into your hand, as well as a pen and a piece of paper. So let's begin now with our alignment. Closing our eyes now, let us imagine ourselves sitting in a sacred circle. And let our intention be to create within this circle a positive energy field of light and love, a receptive group field. Take a moment now to enter the silence of your own heart. Sitting in this silence, begin to be aware of your breathing, aware of the beating of your heart. Aware that we are alive and present here on earth. Imagine a flame burning at the center of your heart. This is the fire of love that burns at the core of our being. Know that this fire exists within each of us, within everyone. Focus now on that flame of love in your heart and send it out to everyone here in our group. Beams of flaming light to everyone. Let us weave a matrix of light around our circle. And now take a moment to imaginatively join with groups around the world who may be meeting together to celebrate this full moon. Visualize this network of light encircling our planet, becoming a planetary matrix of light that receives and transmits the blessings coming from Pisces. And give thanks for this opportunity to be a conduit of light in our world. O Thou, in whom we live, breathe, and have our being, the power which makes all things new, turn the fate of humanity to better things. Everywhere, move the hearts of humans that they may open themselves to the spirit of love and brotherhood and sisterhood and mutual responsibility. May the will for good be the motive of all deeds, and may it establish once again the reign of peace on earth. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in our hearts, through our groups, and throughout the world. May all beings be safe. May all beings be cared for. May all beings be restored. And may all beings find peace. And so it is. Well, we welcomed the sign of Pisces on February 18th. And Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and it rules the 12th house, which is the final house around the zodiac wheel. It's a sign of culmination and synthesis. It wraps up the zodiacal year and asks us to leave behind what we do not wish to carry into the next cycle. In many ways, it's a month of surrender, a surrender into greater love. We surrender our sense of separation. At Pisces' highest octave, it represents the end of this stage of our evolutionary journey, or enlightenment, a state where there is no duality, no separation, and we begin to perceive how everything arises from and returns to the source. We move from identifying with our ego self to embodying our essence, which is pure love. So for just a moment, let us contemplate what we might be willing to let go of this month. What is it you are willing to leave behind so you do not carry it over into the next coming cycle? The fire sign of Aries is coming up soon, and a new energy will be pouring down upon us. The energy of initiating something and manifesting it out into the world. We cannot do that if we're holding on to whatever has outlived its usefulness, be it a mindset, a relationship, a belief, or attitude. What are you willing to let go of? The aspects in the full moon chart this month ask us to pay attention to the details of our life. This is Virgo energy. Look around at your environment carefully so you can see clearly what you have and also what needs to be cleaned out, what needs to be fixed or changed, released, or modified. Just because something was helpful and important to you years ago may not mean that it still is. These important aspect points are asking us to be truthful, to have courage and clear things up enough so that you can see clearly what is possible. Use your imagination, your intuition, and your creativity. These are all Pisces energies. But use them in a practical, focused way, which brings in Virgo, so you can gain insights in what you need to do for your next step. Pisces is a water sign, therefore has a very sensitive emotional nature. And there's a quote from an anonymous source that describes Pisces in a beautiful way. Quote, "Can you hear the dim roar of the ocean waves lapping on land all over our globe? Can you remember what it is to look at the vastness of the ocean and feel the immensity inside you. Pema Chodron says something like this: "You are the sky. Everything else is just weather. You are complete and vast and immense and love itself." We can remember this when we look at the sky or look at the ocean. And we can remember this when we move into the month of Pisces. What is it to feel beyond yourself, without limit? What is it to surrender and breathe and know you are already immense? And all the striving in the world will not change the essential substance of who you already are. Pisces asks you to surrender to the grace that is forever moving in your life, but is rarely noticed. Pisces asks for trust and the willingness to consider that we are not alone, but intricately woven into and through one another's lives. It asks us to reframe lonely and think of ourselves as profoundly connected, but perhaps momentarily in solitude. Pisces yearns for the truest kinds of sanctuary, where we are dancing with the greatness that is all about us, connected to the source, and replenished by the beauty of this connection. Pisces is poetry and music and wordlessness. Pisces is time out of time. Pisces is retreat. Use this month for inspiration, imagination, flow, compassion, and radical self-care. Use this time to be gentle. Use this time to dream. Use this time to love yourself and everyone else you can, without effort or should." End quote. I thought that was a beautiful way to describe the Pisces energy, the immensity of it. Pisces opposite sign Virgo has a much different feel to it. Virgo is an earth sign, so it's very much connected to physical reality. It lives in the real world, not the ethereal. It's pragmatic and analytical, not mystical. It's discerning and precise. It notices the little things, unlike Pisces, who tends to see the whole picture. Virgo rules the 6th house of the everyday world. The work we do, paying our bills, taking care of our health, washing dishes, sweeping floors, doing laundry. How do we blend these two energies? We are asked to become the practical mystic, the pilgrim that comes down from the blissful mountaintop of Capricorn and spreads its light into the real world, bringing the spiritual into our everyday life. Washing dishes can be a meditative experience if it's done with mindfulness. We can walk through our day doing our chores while holding the awareness of our connection to spirit. We can act with discernment, being mindful of our words and actions. We can learn to think with our hearts and feel with our heads. Balancing energies always requires of us that we don't get stuck in the polarity of either sign, that we always have access to both energies at any given time, so we can call on what we need rather than being unconscious of how we use the energy. Virgo wants to learn, to study, and to take things in a logical order. Pisces trusts her intuition about any mental agenda. Virgo's primary spiritual lesson is discernment. What is most important to focus on in any given moment? And can it be made perfect? It's easy for Virgos to sink into judgment, criticism, and to be self-deprecating. At this level, the tendency is to label things as right or wrong, good and bad, black and white. There is no gray. But this becomes a separating energy, and Virgo can close down her heart and become defensive and shut down. I'm sure we can all identify with that reaction when we've become hurt or afraid. We'll do anything to defend that hurt part. But here we can invoke the Pisces energy to help. When the higher octave of Pisces is invoked, it brings in a higher perspective. It can see that we are all at various stages of evolving. It doesn't judge. It acknowledges that everyone is worthy of love. But Pisces can also have a shadow side. On the level of the personality, Pisces can have a hard time with boundaries and can be prone to addictions or succumb to the tendency to be a victim or a martyr. When these energies are balanced in a healthy way, we are able to discern and notice differences without sinking into judgment. We can serve others from a place of fullness within ourselves, instead of serving out of obligation that can deplete and become self-sacrificing. We love and value ourselves as much as we love all of creation. The clarity of the mind can join with the wisdom of the heart. These are some questions that we might want to contemplate this month. How can I fill my heart with the compassion of Pisces and find a way to use it in a practical way in my everyday life? When I feel foggy and confused, Pisces, can I call in the discerning mind of Virgo to bring me clarity? How can I strengthen my faith, Pisces, when my tendency is to see only what is wrong in the world, Virgo? This month, let us commit to being mindful of the disparate parts of ourselves and of others, and yet not lose sight of our loving essence, that which binds us together. Let us do what we can to love intelligently. I'd like to shift gears now a little bit, and instead of our usual meditation tonight, I'd like to do something a little bit different. I'd like you to join me in a brief visualization that I have been using in honor of the people and country of Ukraine. But first, a poem by Mari Andrew. I am washing my face before bed while the country is on fire. It feels dumb to wash my face and dumb not to. It has never been this way, and it has always been this way. Someone has always clinked a cocktail glass in one hemisphere as someone loses a home in another. Someone falls in love in the same apartment building where someone grieves. The fact that suffering and beauty coincide is unbearable and remarkable. I imagine everyone has felt a sense of helplessness in facing this crisis in Ukraine. What can we do? How can we help? The astrologer Stephanie Austin says, each act of kindness or expression of beauty, every prayer, meditation, or ritual ripples out and adds to the tipping point, helping to shift our world from duality to unity, from fear to love, from war to peace. One thing I have found helpful is this daily visualization that I'm going to share with you with a worldwide group of people online. The leader, a woman named Tuija from Finland, shows these beautiful images and symbols that have so much power. And we use the power of invocation to call down the help from the great ones. The images are easy to keep in mind, and I've found it helpful to just imagine these symbols throughout the day, helping me focus my energies on helping the people of Ukraine. United in group intention, we can create a powerful magnetic field that opens a channel for the great ones to pour down their help and protection. These images and our prayers are especially potent now as we near the full moon day. And part of what's different tonight is that I'm going to try to share my screen with you and put some of these images up on the screen. So this is a statue of the Archangel Michael. And Michael is the patron saint of the Ukraine. So in our visualization, we invoke the presence of Michael and his saving force. And we see the angels underneath him spreading out all over the Ukraine and assuming and believing that his protective energy will help the people of Ukraine. So that's the first image I want you to kind of keep in your mind. And the next one is, this is one of the sacred symbols that we use a lot, and the color, indigo blue, is the color of Pisces, but it also is a very powerful healing color. And the pentagram is a very sacred, powerful symbol for protection. And so what we have here is a sacred triangle, which is another powerful symbol that joins three parts of the city in Kyiv. Up in the upper left-hand corner is the monastery of Michael, Saint Michael, Archangel Michael. To the right is the Parliament building, and down below is St. Sophia Cathedral. And for those of you that know anything about the rays that we've talked about a little bit in the past, this is a powerful triangle joining ray 1, 2, and 3. Ray 1, the ray of will and power, is the monastery, St. Michael's Monastery. Ray 2 is the cathedral, the ray of love and wisdom. And ray 3 is the ray of active intelligence, which sits at the Parliament building. So this is a wonderful image. And in the center is the statue of Archangel Michael that sits in the middle of Independence Square in downtown Kyiv. So just try to keep that in your mind as well. This is another one of the pentagram, but it also shows the great defending wall that we bring into our visualization. The defending wall is an energetic field around all of Ukraine. And it is said to, it translates as this far and no farther. So the combination of the defending wall, and it's an energetic wall, so it has the effect of energetically helping to stop the aggression. And of course the pentagram is again the symbol of great protection. So that's another really good image to keep in our minds. Okay. Let's get quiet now, and I'll take you into this visualization. So just take a few deep breaths and feel your body settle down. And what I'm going to start with is naming each person in our group, because there's such power in speaking our names and joining together person to person. I think it strengthens our bond and it strengthens our energetic connection and it makes us more powerful. So as I read each person's name, I'd like you to just with intention open your heart and send that person a connecting stream of love and light and power. So Uni, Kathy, Betsy, Linda, Claudia, Linda B, Janelle, Anne, Ali, take a moment now to feel the power in our group connection, the strength that we have as a group when we all join together in this way. Now let us imagine that we are joining hands with men and women of goodwill all around the world. Know that there are thousands of people praying for peace, that are praying for humanity to stand strong in the face of this threat. Imagine now that this group of linked beings are surrounding the country of Ukraine. Bring that image back into your mind of that circle, of the defending wall. We're standing in that circle. We stand as stalwarts for peace and goodwill among all people. We are the defending wall. Visualize now that there are also 4 great angelic beings standing in the 4 directions: the north, the south, the east, and the west. These are the guardians of the 4 directions. In your imagination now, link with these 4 guardians of the light. These guardians hold the flame of life for all Ukrainian people. In your imagination now, send forth your invocative appeal for these guardians to fortify this defending wall and to pour forth their help to the Ukrainian people. Now in your imagination, visualize the capital city of Kyiv. Even though you cannot see a picture of it, just try to imagine it in your mind and see our group surrounding the capital and silently blessing the people. Now above the whole country, visualize the solar angel of Ukraine. This solar angel is representative of the soul of Ukraine and holds the highest vision of what is possible for the Ukrainian people to achieve. And she has angels underneath her. Imagine hundreds and thousands of angelic beings pouring down aid and protection to Ukraine. Now bring to mind the image of the 3 structures in Kyiv: St. Michael's Golden Domed Monastery, St. Sophia's Cathedral, and the Parliament Building. Visualize again that living triangle between these structures. and see us as a group standing hand to hand around this triangle. See the energy of those three rays circulating around the sacred triangle. As one voice, let us spiritually demand that the divine plan descend and be established in the Ukraine. Let us also send forth our demand that the soul of Russia pour down upon the leaders of that country, stimulating them to right action. Let us as one voice spiritually demand that the forces of light stop the expansion of the forces of materialism. And finally, let us demand that there be a peaceful settlement to this issue. Now we will sit in the silence for 3 minutes, and as we do this, what we are doing is creating a channel for the energies of love, light, and power to descend. So 3 minutes of silence, please. Let us also remember to send our prayers to President Biden, who's faced with incredible pressure right now. And we can ask that his soul pour down upon him clarity of thought and help him to understand what the right action is that will support the larger plan for humanity. So let us close now with the great invocation number 2. Let the lords of liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming, save. Come forth, O Mighty One. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, O Mighty One. The hour of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O Mighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The activate of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, O Mighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. Om. Om. All right, dear friends, I'd like to try one more time to share my screen and end with a song.
Let it be here with you.
Let me walk with my take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
me. Wasn't that great? Well, thank you for being patient with me tonight.